April 21st, 1945. 1847 hours. Somewhere east of the Haas Mountains. The light is dying fast. Snow spits sideways through the trees. And an SS Unterscharführer named Marcus Keller drags his half-frozen boots through a forest that feels endless and hostile. He doesn't know where his unit is. He doesn't know who's hunting him. He only knows one thing. The rye is collapsing, and he is collapsing with it. He presses his back against a tree, forcing himself to breathe quietly. The distant rumble of artillery tremors through the ground, faint, but close enough to remind him that the world he served is burning down. You can almost feel the freezing wind bite into him as he tries to orient himself. East? West? The compass he carried snapped during the retreat. His map is soaked. His rifle jams every third round. But fear, that still works perfectly. Marcus stumbles forward, delirious from hunger, half certain he's being watched. Every twig that snaps feels like a gun cocking. Every shadow feels like a muzzle flash waiting to happen. Then, a shape, a dark outline between the trees. At first, he thinks it's a patrol. He reaches for the useless rifle on instinct. But it's no patrol. It's something stranger. A structure. Wooden. Small. Secluded. A cabin. Hidden deep where no one should be living. And inside that cabin, someone is moving. Marcus freezes. Whoever is in there, local civilian, deserter, partisan, could end this moment in an instant, but is out of options, out of warmth, out of time. He steps toward the door, slowly, hands trembling, not knowing that what waits inside will rewrite everything he thinks he knows about enemies and about himself. The door opens before Marcus even knocks. A sharp creak, a slice of warm light spilling into the freezing dark. And there she stands, a woman, no older than 30, hair tied back, jaw set with that unmistakable wartime hardness. Her name, he will learn later, is Elena Weiss. Right now, she is simply the stranger blocking his last chance at survival. Her eyes drop instantly to the black uniform beneath his torn coat, the insignia, the runes, the symbol that has ruled this land in terror. Her breath catches. Her hand tightens on the edge of the door. You can almost feel the surge of danger explode between them. Marcus stiffens, instinct firing. He raises both hands. A gesture he never imagined making to someone considered an enemy. But exhaustion crushes pride. Cold crushes ideology. I need shelter.
Please, we can't stop here. Keller, we have to keep moving. I can't feel my legs.
Voice hoarse, barely steady. Elena doesn't move, doesn't blink. Her gaze sharpens, not with fear, but with calculation. This is a woman who has survived the war alone. She doesn't waste emotion. Your SS, she says quietly. Not a question, a verdict. Marcus swallows hard. He can feel every ounce of hate the uniform deserves. If she slams the door, he dies in the snow. If she screams, a patrol, any patrol, will shoot him before he can explain. But then she does something he never expects. Something that makes a moment feel unreal. She steps aside, just a few inches, enough to let warmth spill toward him, enough to let him live. For now, why? Why would she show mercy to a man in that uniform? Why risk her own life? Marcus steps across the threshold, knowing nothing will be the same after this. Elena closes the door behind him with a deliberate, almost unnerving calm. No rush, no panic, just silence. Marcus stands rigid, unsure whether he's been granted shelter or walked into a trap. You can sense the tension coiling between them. Two strangers forced into a space meant for one. She watches in the way someone watches a wounded animal that might still bite.
You'll sit.
You'll sit, she says. Not an offer, an order. Marcus obeys, partly because it's too weak to resist, partly because her tone leaves no room for defiance. Her eyes flick to his sidearm. Put the weapon on the table. He hesitates. An SS man giving up his pistol to a civilian? Unthinkable. But a moment later, the cold click of metal against what echoes between them. Surrender without battle, the kind that cuts deeper than any wound. Elena keeps her distance. No softness, no sympathy, just a quiet, controlled anger simmering beneath every breath. You fought for the people who burned everything, she says. Marcus doesn't answer, not because he disagrees, but because there's nothing to defend anymore. He expects her next move to be the obvious one. Take the gun, point it at him, finish the war in her own way. Instead, she walks to a small counter, tears a strip of cloth, and places it in water. Marcus blinks, stunned. What are you doing? Elena doesn't look at him. You're bleeding, she says. Letting you die on my floor would make me no better than what you served. The words hit harder than a rifle butt. Mercy, from someone who had every right to hate him, a decision he never deserved. And for the first time, Marcus feels something unfamiliar burn through the cold. Shame. Elena kneels beside him. Not close, just near enough to do what she intends. Her movements are practiced, controlled, almost mechanical. But her hands tremble only once. Marcus watches her soak the cloth, wring it out, and press it gently against the gash on his arm. The warmth stings. The contact feels foreign, as if kindness itself has become a forgotten language. You should have left me outside, he mutters. Not a plea, outside. A confession. Elena doesn't look up. I don't decide who lives or dies, she answers. That's what your people did. The word sliced deeper than the wound. He forces himself not to flinch, not from the pain, but from the truth. For a long moment, the cabin holds nothing but the rhythmic sound of her tending him, a strange calm hanging over two people who should never share the same room. You expect me to thank you? Marcus asks, frustrated by the unfamiliar sting of vulnerability. Elena finally meets his eyes. You don't have to thank me, she says, but you will answer something.
How many homes like this have your men torn apart?
Marcus freezes. There's no safe answer, no right words. He opens his mouth, then closes it. Silent becomes his only honesty. Elena nods, as if she expected nothing else. You see, she whispers, you can't even lie to protect your uniform anymore. Marcus's breath shakes, barely noticeable, but undeniable, because in that moment, the uniform that once gave him power now feels like a weight dragging him under. Then, a faint sound outside, a crunch in the snow. Slow, deliberate. Someone is approaching the cabin. Elena's face shifts instantly from anger to alarm. She steps to the window, lifts the curtain just an inch, and whispers, "They're not here for you." A pause. "They are here for me." Elena lets the curtain fall. Her expression tightens, fear flickering through the mask she's worn all evening. Marcus notices it immediately. Not fear of him, fear of whoever's out there. He straightens in the chair despite the pain. Who is it? She doesn't answer at first. Her eyes drift toward his pistol on the table, the gun she insisted he surrender. Then she speaks, quiet and sharp. Local militia, not Germans, not allies. A beat, men who think this forest belongs to them now. Marcus understands instantly. The collapse of the front created a vacuum. Partisans, deserters, bandits, men with no law except the one they invent. Elena's next words chill him more than the night outside. They came 2 nights ago, said they'd return, said a woman living alone should share what she has. It takes Marcus a second to grasp the implication. When he does, his jaw tightens, not out of duty, not out of ideology, but out of something simpler. A human reaction he thought he'd buried long ago. A fist pounds on the door. Elena jolts. The sound rattles the wooden walls, echoing through the cramped cabin. Another fist, harder this time. Then a voice, slurred but threatening. Open up, Elena. We saw smoke. We know you're in there. Marcus instinctively reaches for the pistol, but Elena snaps her hand up, stopping him. Don't. Her voice is barely a breath. If they find you here in an SS uniform, they'll kill us both. The pounding grows louder. More voices join in. 3, 4, too many for a wounded man, even if he were armed. Elena steps back from the door, chest tightening, eyes darting as she calculates the narrowest possibility of survival. Marcus watches her, this woman who saved him, fed him, treated him, now cornered by enemies of her own. He leans forward, voice low and steady. Tell me what you want me to do. Elena turns to him slowly, and what she asks next, is the last thing he expected. Elena steps closer, her voice barely audible over the fists hammering the door. "Go to the cellar," she whispers. "Now!" Marcus stares at her, stunned. That won't help if they search. They won't. Her eyes lock with his. They're looking for weakness, not a fight. If they think I'm alone, they won't waste time tearing the place apart. Another brutal pound shakes the hinges. A bottle shatters outside. Laughter follows. Marcus's pulse spikes. "These men, they won't just talk," he mutters. Elena nods stiffly. "I know." She's trembling now, not out of fragility, but from the horrifying calculation she's forced to make. Shelter a wounded SS officer, or face a group of armed opportunists alone. Her eyes drift once more to the pistol on the table. She could take it, give herself a fighting chance, but she doesn't move toward it. Not yet, not while he's still in the room. "Elena," Marcus says quietly, "if they hurt you, you can't help me if you're the first one they find." She cuts in. There's no softness in her voice, just raw, desperate logic. She steps to a wooden hatch in the floor, pulls it open. Cold, stale air rises from below, a hiding place offered to a man she should hate. The pounding stops. Silence, a silence far more dangerous than noise. Then the voice again, this time darker, closer to the crack in the door. "We won't ask again." Elena grips Marcus's sleeve, urgency surging through her. "Go!" For the first time since stepping into the cabin, Marcus hesitates, not from fear, but from something heavier. This woman is risking everything for him. "Elena," he whispers, "you don't owe me this." She meets his gaze, steady despite the terror around them. "No," she says, "but I owe myself a decision of who I become in this war." Another slam hits the door, this one splintering the wood. Marcus descends into the darkness of the cellar. The hatch shuts above him. Footsteps approach, and Elena stands alone, facing the threat on the other side, with nothing but her resolve and a secret hidden beneath her floorboards. Marcus crouches in the cellar, heart hammering against his ribs. The darkness is suffocating, yet he can hear everything. The scrape of boots on snow, the low murmur of voices, the distant laughter of men convinced they have the upper hand. Above him, Elena moves with quiet precision, every step measured, every shadow accounted for. He knows she's not thinking about him, at least not first. She's thinking about surviving. Minutes stretch like hours. Then, a shift in the cadence of the men above. They argue, confused, unable to find the expected prize. Marcus realizes something he didn't expect. Her mercy, her humanity, has bought him more than safety. It's bought him perspective, a moment to see the war and himself differently. He presses his hand against the cold stone wall, trying to steady the rage and guilt swirling inside. The uniform he once wore with pride now feels like a costume of shame. Every atrocity, every command, every unquestioned order, all of it condensed into the unbearable stillness of the cellar. Outside, Elena's voice cuts sharply, commanding, clever, persuasive. A few muffled replies. The men grow frustrated, confused. Then, finally, the footsteps fade. The cabin settles into silence again. Marcus waits, chest height. He doesn't move. He can't. Moments later, the hatch creaks open. Elena leans down, her face pale but resolute. "You lived," she says simply. No celebration, no triumph, just a quiet acknowledgement that two lives, caught in the chaos of war, had intersected in a way neither expected. He climbs out, limping, wounded but alive. She doesn't offer warmth, doesn't smile. She simply nods, a recognition of the small, extraordinary choice she made in the midst of destruction. Marcus looks at her, a question forming on his lips, about gratitude, about morality, about the life he now owes to someone he was trained to despise. But the words don't come. He simply bows his head. And in that moment, he understands something fundamental. Sometimes survival isn't about skill, strategy, or ideology. Sometimes it's about mercy. Sometimes it's about being human. Outside, the wind howls through the trees. The distant echoes of war continue to rage. But inside that cabin, a different story has been written. A story of choice. A story of conscience. A story of two lives intertwined by the smallest, most radical act of compassion. Marcus and Elena exchange one last glance. No words, just understanding. And for the first time in months, he feels something like hope.